Now, I'm standing just outside the Pilkington Library, which, according to urban myth, is actually sinking because of the number of books held inside it, some 600,000 altogether. But the big question today is which of our players will write their own page in history just across campus at the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre. Sunshine outside, unmistakable tension in and around Court 1 with so much to play for in terms of prize money, points and pride. Very pleased to have Gigi Salmon alongside me once again. Gigi, we had a dramatic semi-final late last night. We've had two dominant performers during the course of the week. What stood out for you in particular so far in week two?
We've now had back-to-back Super Saturdays, and if you just focus on the highlights from yesterday, two players you mentioned who are dominant, Anton Matusevich, Emily Appleton, they haven't dropped a set through to their finals. Mark Whitehouse, 8th in week one. The rockets he was hitting past Dan Cox were unbelievable. We then had this belter of a match late into the night with Alice Maloney and Beth Gray leaving everything out on the court. Beth Gray needed medical attention at the end. Wonderfully, she's okay to play today. And maybe most importantly, I managed to get my Easter cake order into Alice Gillan before the order's closed.
Yeah, as always, you got your priorities right, didn't you? Just in terms of those two dominant players, Matusevich and Appleton, are you expecting them to maintain that and to be winners come the end of the afternoon?
I think definitely with regards to Emily Appleton, she does have the win over Elise Maloney in the group stage, and she's been flawless in terms of her tennis and how she's been playing and her mindset, and she continues to talk about putting herself on the court, her character. She's so relaxed off it, so smiley, so focused on it. The serve, the big weapon, is still firing. Anton Matusevich, I think it will be a little bit closer with Mark Whitehouse. He has the type of game that's very disruptive. It's hard to get a rhythm against him. If he plays anywhere near the level he did against Dan Cox, and Matusevich keeps his level up from the semi-final, it's going to, well, I feel sorry for the tennis balls above all in that encounter.
Okay, well, let's just confirm exactly what we have in store for you over the course of the next few hours. Here at Loughborough University, first up imminently, Alice Gillan and Beth Gray will fight for third place. It'll be very interesting to see how Beth is both physically and mentally after that extraordinary semi-final last night. Dan Cox and Sean Hodkin will then contest third and fourth in the men's singles. A reminder, it's £2,500 for third place plus appearance money and £2,000 for fourth, 12 points as well for coming third, 10 if you're fourth. Those points are going to be very important come the end of the year. Not before 2:30, Emily Appleton will look to make it back-to-back week titles against the feisty and supremely competitive Elisa Maloney, after which Anton Matusevich and Mark Whitehouse lock horns in what, as Gigi just said, should be a very hard-hitting affair. £3,750 plus the appearance fee for the winners of the men's and the singles. So there's an awful lot of pressure, there's an awful lot of tension and expectation and every other superlative I can think of. And apparently there's going to be a slight delay because one of the players who's about to come out had to make an unscheduled visit to the bathroom, but she's there now. She's not in the bathroom there, she's behind the curtain now. So let's welcome them onto court. And first up, it is Alice Gillan. What an opportunity, what a moment for the 22-year-old, the British #4, who trains at the NTC in Roehampton. She came fifth in week one. She lost to Beth Gray in the group stage, but she's found some fantastic form during the course of this week. She's a brilliant baker as well. She's also studying for a law degree, very versatile. She also rides extremely well. She has her own Shetland pony, but right now she's focusing on victory here in Loughborough. It's going to be tough for her though, because her opponent is experienced and incredibly hard-working. And goodness me, what a night she had last night. Having of course reached the final in week one, she came so close to doing so again before losing that remarkable match to Elisa Maloney. Best 25 years of age. She's from Liverpool. She's a left-hander who's won 14 ITF doubles titles. She's from a family of 7, and she's supported once again by her long-term boyfriend, Ed Taylor. But Gigi, as we see the players prepare once again, how difficult is it going to be for Beth after what she experienced in that semi-final on this court just last night?
I think that's the big thing, and I think that's what we're going to be looking at, because she really wasn't in a good way at the end of that match. I mentioned 2 hours and 37 minutes, and a number of the rallies were 20 shots plus. I mean, they were both out on their feet, and then you don't come through, so the adrenaline goes and you haven't won. She also had a problem with some food poisoning earlier in the week, so she's had to shrug that off through the group stage. So I think all eyes, including that of Alice Gillan, at her opponent to see how she's recovered. Remembering it's also their 7th match in 7 days, which will take a toll on the body.
Yeah, well, we're getting used to the fact that these players need to be tough. We know how talented they are, but they have to keep going. And it's not just the physical side of things, but mentally, you've got to deal with the disappointment as Beth is right now, which usually, of course, you don't, because a general event sees you lose a match and go home and reflect for a couple of days at least.
I think it works both ways, because some would say, well, this is the best format because you don't dwell on it. You don't have a week to sit there and think, what should I have done? What could I have done? I haven't done it. The next day, you've got to get out there. You've got to pull your socks up and you've got to get back on court. And you can turn it around. So Beth Gray could win today. And she does lead Alice Gillan 3-0 in the head-to-head. 2 of those meetings were one in the group stage here, one in week 1. They've both gone the distance and they met last year. So some would say it's quite a good way, but a lot of the players haven't. They've been speaking, especially during lockdown, that they worked on the mental side of their game.
Yeah. If, by the way, they don't like anything that Gigi has to say, she's in a prime position to be hit right on the back of the head. But Alice Gillan isn't that sort of a player. But as I mentioned before, she rides ponies, she bakes, she's doing a law degree. She's multi-talented, isn't she?
If I put in an order for an Easter cake, she's not going to hit me with a ball. She might hit you with a ball. She did say yesterday that it's invaluable, these 7 matches. She said, where else would I have got 14 matches in 2 weeks, the guaranteed match play? She's looking forward to getting back out on the road. She has one more law assignment. When it's done, she's free of that until October. She's doing it part-time. And next week, she's put aside for baking because she's got an awful lot of orders. There is so much going on, but she was keen to stress it is about tennis. She's the British number 24. As you mentioned, being in the top 25, she can train at the NTC. She was 5th last week, so she's gone a step further and she can finish 1 or 2 places higher, and that's what she will be looking to do before she gets back to the baking.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll give a plug to her business. It's called Truly Scrumptious. Is she going to produce a truly scrumptious display today? And with this match, what's your hunch?
I think it's going to be, the first couple of games going to be very interesting to see how Beth Gray, who relies so much on her fitness and her movement, how has she recovered in the hours since she left this court after that battle with Maloney. She doesn't, Gillen, have the win over Beth Gray, but in recent matches she's got really close and she's been looking really good this week. I kind of don't want to call it, but I will go with Alice Gillan.
Okay, if Beth heard that, you can aim at Gigi right now. Gigi is actually going to head up to the sanctuary of the commentary box, which is probably a very wise decision. Waiting for her there already is Jenny Drummond.
Thanks very much, Marcus, and Gigi, of course, who will be joining me very shortly for this 3rd, 4th playoff match between Alice Gillan and Beth Gray. Alice Gillan, British number 24, Beth Gray, British number 25. And Gigi and Marcus speaking a little bit there about the battle that this woman had to fight late last night. It was a tough one indeed. She led Alice Maloney by a set and 5-1. Incidentally, had 6 match points as well, was 5-1 up in the second set, tie break. But Alice Maloney, as we know, is an absolute fighter, and she certainly proved that yesterday. So she is in the final of week 2, a little bit later on today. But great to see Beth Gray back, feeling a bit better. And she is up against Alice Gillan, who has produced some very solid tennis this week, that's for sure. She's lost to Beth Gray 3 times in her career, 1 already this week, but that match was very close indeed. Beth Gray actually led by a set and a break, 6-4, 2-love, and was serving. But Alice Gillan fought her way back into that match. It went down to the championship tie break, but it was Beth Gray who came out on top, 10-7. So it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy week for Beth Gray. And Alice Gillan had a tough encounter yesterday against the in-form Emily Appleton, who is 13 from 13 in terms of matches at the UK Pro League, looking for another win today. But these two ladies, still a lot to play for in terms of points and prize money. Third gets 12 points, fourth 10 points. And for Alice Gillan, certainly a much improved week for her. Third gets £2,500, fourth 2,000, and of course the £500 appearance fee as well. So we're almost all set here on court one at the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre for this women's third-fourth playoff. First of 4 matches to come today. And we'll have the men's third-fourth playoff after this between Dan Cox and Sean Hodkin. Good friends, of course. Coaches are actually twin brothers, so it'll be a battle of the brothers. Then the women's final, Emily Appleton against Alice Maloney. And rounding things off, Anton Matusevich and Mark Whitehouse. The battle of the mathematicians. But right now, it is third-fourth playoff between Alice Gillan and Beth Gray alongside me in the commentary box. Gigi Salmon, you're here, there and everywhere this morning, Gigi.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm looking forward to this one, but I think all eyes really will be on Beth Gray to see how she's recovered, because she wasn't in a good way. I mean, it was a bruising encounter with Alice Maloney, so it's going to be interesting. And she relies so much on her fitness, the physical side of things, so really interested to see the early stages of this contest, playing for third place in week 2.
Love 15.
I'm really interested to see how Gray approaches this match after her previous match yesterday in terms of her physical recovery. Does she go for her shots a bit more? Does she want to grind it out, or does she want to shorten them?
You saw towards the end of the match with Maloney yesterday, she was desperately trying to come forward and just finish off the point. She didn't want any more 30-shot rallies after over 2.5 hours on court.
30-15. Gillen.
That's a good first hold from Alice Gillan, a hold to 15. She's had a really good week, Alice Gillan, and as she said, she talked about it's just about the matches. She wants to be out competing, she wants to be travelling, but the chance to stay local, to get this weight of matches, and then to make the prize money and go out on the road, she couldn't ask for more.
Exactly, and the interesting thing is that the only losses she's had are to Beth Gray and Emily Appleton in this event, who have been extremely successful, finalists of week 1. So credit to Alice Gray, she's beaten everyone else she's been asked to play.
Sarah, Beth Gray.
So our first look at Beth Gray stepping up to serve, hasn't had that long to rest and recover.
Love. First serve. Love. $40-50. Gray.
Couple of good 1-2 punches off the serve from Beth Gray. And really, Jenny, if this is the first time you're seeing Beth Gray, you wouldn't know that she had been through what she has been through physically this week.
It's quite remarkable to see her focus. She is such a dedicated player, and also she doesn't really show her emotion on the court either. Her temperament is really measured. She does on the practice court, however. It's quite interesting. She says that's where she gets her anger out. But on the match court, she hides it from her opponent.
I think you said something yesterday that really hit the mark with Alice Gillan, that she's been flying below the radar. We haven't really been talking about her through week one, where she finished 5th, and now when she had a chance yesterday to make it through to the final.
Absolutely, because we've had the likes of Emily Appleton winning in straight sets, being undefeated, Beth Gray getting to the final. Alice Gillan didn't get to the semi-finals. But as I mentioned, the only losses have come to Beth Gray and Emily Appleton. So everyone else that she's played against, she's stepped up. And equally, some of those matches too, the last 2 matches with Beth Gray have both gone down to championship tiebreaks. So she's going toe to toe. Yesterday was a different ball game against Emily Appleton. She was outpowered.
And you wonder if she could get it to a championship tiebreak against Beth Gray, how that might turn in her favour due to everything that Gray's gone through. The longer this goes on, the harder the rallies are. I mean, they're not going to be probably the longest rallies between these two.
I mean, in terms of confidence, I mean, despite that point, because that was quite incredible from Beth Gray. She loves taking the ball out of the air on the forehand drive volley. Coming into this match, I would say that Alice Gillan probably had more confidence due to the nature of Gray's results this week. She started off really well, obviously had a bit of the food poisoning, lost to Danielle Daly. That loss really got to her. Then yesterday as well. And as we know, tennis is such a mind game, isn't it? So it will be a test of Gray's mental strength today as well, and at the moment it's looking pretty good.
Very good to this point, which has brought up a first breakpoint opportunity of this third place playoff match in week 2. And it's fallen the way of Beth Gray, the British number 20, week 1 runner-up. Chance to get the break.
And that backhand from Gillen, she's really able to generate quite a lot of easy power off it. And so deep. Gray unable to deal with that power. She's such a relaxed player, Gillen.
So calm, just looks so relaxed. Great temperament. She does say it takes her 8 hours to make one of her cakes.
That's dedication right
That's
there.
dedication. You've got to be calm and concentrated.
And a perfectionist.
Absolutely.
Some of the detail on the icing. Make sure you check out her Instagram. Truly scrumptious.
Say it's a really good way to switch off from tennis, and yes, she's studying law degree as well. There's a lot for her to switch off with, but it's nice just to, while tennis is her #1 priority, it's nice to have those other things in her life to take her away from it.
Oh, for sure, and we see that so often with players. So many top players are good at lots of other sports, have other hobbies, and particularly with the pandemic, we've seen so many tennis players have to take up other interests in order to fill their time. For example, Alice Maloney has taught herself French at home.
A great mix-up from Beth Gray, bringing Alice Gillan forward, making the most of it, getting the point and getting the break. So an early breakthrough for week 1 runner-up Beth Gray, who has a 2-1 lead with the break.
Time.
Welcome back to finals day, week 2 of the UK Pro League. Players we have here, Alice Gillan and Beth Gray, are playing for 12 and 10 points respectively, and £2,500 and £2,000 plus their appearance fee. It's Beth Gray, slightly older at 25, with the break.
15 love.
I was just talking in the break there how her boyfriend Ed Taylor is here and supporting her, but she has gone with the coach rather than the boyfriend courtside today.
I'm not surprised. I think Ed might need a break after last night. Well, you guys were talking in commentary, the fact that he had the mask on. I'm sure he was quite grateful to have a mask on because it was a stressful match, not only for a coach, but definitely for a boyfriend. I mean, he travels a lot with Beth. He coaches himself. So he's very used to that, but...
He's got a different view, a little bit higher up today, looking down.
Switched it round today.
Beth. Yeah, 100%.
That was 100% from the chair.
And to be fair, Gray apologising. These players both lovely girls.
There's a Beth Gray through this week. She won matches day 1 to day 4 against Nadia Rawson, Kylie Bilchev, Tanisha Dissanayaka and Alice Gillan. That was a day 4, as we mentioned, in the championship tiebreak, turn 7. Through that Alice Gillan match, we believe that she was suffering with a bout of food poisoning, so didn't feel at her best. She then battled through on day 5 against... Then she lost, against Danielle Daly, losing in the championship tiebreak, and then that tight match against Alice Maloney. So there's been some brutal battles for Gray this week. But here she is with the early break on Alice Gillan, a 4th meeting between the pair.
That backhand for Gillen down the line is one of her favourite shots. Loves to change up the direction. That time just getting enough height over the ball.
Just too big in the end from Alice Gillan. A very patiently played point from Gillen.
The defensive skills of Gray throughout that point, given the fact that she had such a physical battle yesterday, it's incredible. But Gillen taking that forehand so early. So a wee fist pump from her. You don't often get that type of reaction from Gillen, so she is hungry for this victory.
She'll be disappointed. I mean, she was a long way behind the baseline with that, Gillen, but you can see the shake of the head. Not here with anyone this week. She does work with Craig Veal at the NTC, the Sutton Academy coaches.
Right.
There's a consolidation. That's what Beth Gray will have been looking for. Just a little bit of daylight between her and Alice Gillan in this 3rd place playoff.
A pretty solid start from Gray, certainly. I know we keep mentioning the match last night, but it's so significant because given the format of the UK Pro League, You do have to come back the next day, no matter whether you win or you lose, until your 7 matches are done for the week. And it's not the easiest task when you've lost a really tight match to be potentially in back-to-back finals. Not to be thinking about it the next day. There's not been a lot of time between these 2 matches.
Effortless power she can generate, Gillen. Really lovely, loose forehand.
Yeah, the racket head speed here. Look at the whip there.
See, they've been on court for coming up to 20 minutes. First match of our finals coverage.
That forehand from Beth Gray. She loves to step in on it.
It's good play from Alice Gillan, being 15-40 down in this service game to get herself forward, be aggressive, and then smash away the ball.
Yeah, look how quick she was up to that approach shot. Also didn't try to do too much. It's so easy, especially on that ball, to try and hit a winner straight off it. Just goes through the motions though.
Shot and the depth of those balls from Gray.
And the forehand can be so effective. It is a real weapon for her. It does break down now and again because she hits it really flat. Doesn't have a whole lot of margin for error, but right now it's causing a bit of damage.
Gray.
It's an opportunity for the double break. This is her third break point of this game. Really working that point well and getting herself forward, stepping inside the baseline. Just increasing the pressure blow by blow on Gillen.
You just have to wonder, though, the opportunities Gray had yesterday when she does get breakpoint chances, doesn't take them, and is in the lead. Will that get in her head a little bit?
No.
Simply put.
She's got the double break, Beth Gray, and she leads in this first set by 4-1.
Time.
UK Pro League Week 2. We have your third and fourth place playoff matches. This is the first of those. It will be followed by Dan Cox against Sean Hodkin, playing for third place in the men's. Then we'll have the Emily Appleton, Alice Maloney women's final. Emily Appleton looking to be Week 2 winner together with Week 1 winner. Then Anton Matusevich against Mark Whitehouse to round things off. But it's Beth Gray here, recovered so well from yesterday when, together with physically how she suffered, she also had to mentally deal with the fact that she had those 6 match point opportunities, Jenny.
Yeah, it's really difficult to come back the next day and forget about that. But the scoreboard here, 4-1 double break, she's doing a pretty good job of it right now. But for Gray, she just kind of has to forget about the scoreboard. It's been a bit of a factor this week for her. Just has to keep playing the way she is. She's really using her forehand well to trouble Gillen. Is quite happy to move forward too. That's one of the hardest things in tennis. It's easy to get out in front, but it's so hard to close a set and close a match. We see it so often that comebacks happen.
Well watched by Gray. Drawn in by Gillen, push back, was able to finish off the point. It's the good thing about the UK Pro League, together with the amount of matches they get and the money they can win. If there is a disappointment the next day, you've just got to get out there and do it again. You can set things right, you can right wrongs.
Yeah, sometimes it's the best formula for them, because they do have to reset, they have to refocus. Some players are much better at it than others, and also it's a really big test. It's a good test for many of them.
40,
It's a dent to their ego. It's a knock of their confidence when they lose a match they shouldn't, especially when it's a domestic league as well. Let's not forget that they're all playing, they've all grown up around each other. It's so much more competitive when you're playing a compatriot. It just has always been that way. So to have to come back the next day and as you said, right your wrongs, it's not easy.
She's used the drop shot well. That's the second one from Gray. Both time she's won the point, and in that instance she wins the game. She consolidates once again, and she has a very healthy 5-1 lead.
I have to say I'm so impressed with both the mental strength of Gray here, also her standard of tennis as well. She's not playing tired shots. Let's not forget, it wasn't just a battle last night. This is her 7th match in 7 days.
Thrown a little bit of food poisoning in the middle of the week.
And some tough losses. Not easy.
Love 15.
That's got a lot of pressure here on the mind of Alice Gillan as she double faults to lose the first point of game number 7.
Love 30.
She's looking a bit dejected. Shoulders have gone down a little bit, body language a little bit negative, and if you're Beth Gray, have to be looking to step in here.
Gillen was a long way back, but so was Beth Gray when she looked to play that drop shot and get out of the
15,
point.
30.
Gillen was onto it. Scratch of the head there from Beth Gray. Great work to go back behind
30.
Gray.
And it's a really good play against her because Gray is a fast mover. She chases down everything, and naturally with speed, you're already sprinting to the opposite side.
As that ball thunders into the net, it is set point for Beth Gray.
Nets. Second serve.
Big hitting from Beth Gray, just when she needed it. It's the point, it's the break, it's the set. Boyfriend, he's smiling inside. 6-1, Beth Gray, first set.
Hello?
Hello, Beth, can you hear us?
Yeah.
We'll come to you in about 10 seconds, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very happy to say that Beth Gray joins us now, courtside. Beth, a really good first set, and I'm wondering for you how the last few hours have been. The last time we saw you in quite a lot of distress on court at the end of last night, how you've had time to physically recover in time for today.
I did a good cool down afterwards and then stretch, had a good dinner and good night's sleep, so I feel ready to go today.
Well, Beth, how pleased are you with the manner that you won that first set? 6-1, that forehand is firing.
Yeah, I feel good. Yeah, just trying to play 1 point at a time, so yeah.
Beth, thank you very much. We'll let you get set for set 2 and good luck with the rest of the match. A good night's sleep can do you a world of good.
It can indeed.
Can it not? I always say sleep is essential, and she got a good night's sleep, and she keeps her cards quite close to her chest. Beth Gray, we've got to remember she's in the middle of a match. It's not as though Alice Gillan's listening and was going to suddenly pick up on everything.
She did say that yesterday, though. She was worried that... oh, no, it was actually Emily Appleton when she played Alice in the semi-final. She said, I was just a bit worried that Alice could hear, and I said, give you a little trick. Put one part of the headphone off your ears so that you can hear how loud you're speaking.
Sort of whispering. I guess that's the thing. You think if your opponent's going, oh, I see, so you're happy with that, you'd like to change that, and you're targeting that. Marvellous.
But also what's interesting from speaking to a number of the players yesterday after their matches, not many of them have been interviewed frequently. They're not used to doing much media, and that was something that Jo Jury said at the end of Elise's win yesterday as well. She said, it's great exposure for these players because it's a different environment. Not all of them have even played with cameras on the court before. Yeah, there's a quick look up to the chair from Alice Gillan. You sometimes have that feeling, and she had that feeling that was a winner and that hit the mark, and it did. But you've got to think that we have the coaching timeouts on the WTA Tour outside of Grand Slams, but how often does a top 10 player put on a headset in the middle of the match and chat? It's a wonderful insight for us, but you're in that zone, you're in the middle of a match, and suddenly we're like, hi, how are you? Yeah, well, Josh Paris, the winner of week 1, said he loved it because it chilled him out.
And it's distracted him.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see how the different players react to it as well. Because you're right, we're used to speaking to the players afterwards in, say, a post-match interview or in a press conference where they've had time to relax and almost think about what they're going to say rather than in the heat of it.
Yeah, job's not done.
No, absolutely not.
This is good aggressive stuff from Beth Gray, getting herself forward as quickly as possible, shortening those points. Back to the drop shot again. It's been working against Alice Gillan when they've made their way over the net, and Gray continues the momentum off winning the first set by comfortably holding the first game of the second set.
At the moment, Gillen just doesn't seem to have any answers to Gray's play. Numbers of the opening set, and 77% first serves in from Gray. Have to say her service performance has been really solid so far. She's winning almost every point when her first serve goes in. Compare that to 52% of Alice Gillan. She's far more under pressure in her service games, and for Gray, when your first serve is working well and your forehand, your big 2 shots, then no wonder she's a set to the good.
Just over half an hour on the match clock, and Beth Gray in a very comfortable position. But it is wonderful exposure for these players, as you say, to have the TV cameras, to be doing the interviews afterwards, on court, the mid-match if they're winning sets.
And for us too, to get to know them. It's been brilliant.
Beth Gray went to the School of Performing Arts in Liverpool, a big fan of singing and dancing, just finding out more about the players, not just what they can do on a tennis court, but what keeps them busy off it.
And Gray lost the point there, but that second serve from Gillen is not the strongest, and it's just allowing Gray to step in. So if Gillen doesn't get her first serve in, she knows what's coming. It wasn't the second serve that time, it was the first serve sitting up for Gray. Happy to move into the net once again. Really composed in those overheads.
Her one game, Gillen, came in the very first game of this third place playoff. Now a little bit of danger here at 15:30. There's the breakthrough, early stages of this second set for Beth Gray. Disappointment for Alice Gillan. She's not able to make any inroads on her serve. She hasn't had any break points on the serve of Beth Gray, and now Gray leads by a set and a break.
Yeah, it's been, I have to say, I'm slightly surprised by the level from Gray today. It's been really impressive considering what she's been through this week, and I'm very impressed by her mental toughness here. She's just come here to get the job done, to finish as high as she possibly can. It'll stand her in good stead. And the game plan is working very well for her right now. The first serve, setting up the point really nicely. As soon as she sees that in the air, she's ready to take it on.
He just snuck that in. There's the game for Beth Gray. I think that's a good scoreboard lead now of a set and a break, 3-love. Finals day, week 2 of the UK Pro League, coming to you from the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre, part of Loughborough University. We have 8 weeks of the group stages, with the semi-finals, then the finals, and then we have the finals week in November, our week 1 winners, where Josh Paris and Emily Appleton. Josh Paris is abroad, back on the tour. Emily Appleton looking to make it back-to-back wins in the week 2 final. Coming up a little bit later today.
Love 15. Net, second serve.
Yeah, the second serve getting the treatment at the moment from Gray.
Love 30.
And Gillen's barely finished her service motion by the time the ball's coming back.
Corner as well.
She's immediately under pressure. You can even see in her face now, after missing that first serve, she's set 3-love down, love 30.
Love 40.
A lot of frustration now for Alice Gillan. She's really running away with her. Very calm, composed Beth Gray boyfriend there and Ed Taylor. Different vantage point of her match today.
Game, great.
And that's a break to love for Beth Gray.
Rules, please.
Beth Gray 6-1 4-love.
It's been a really dominant performance from Gray so far. It's just gone about her business. And at the moment, Alice Gillan seems to have lost a bit of confidence in this match.
You can see the serve speed, even with the first serve, has dropped.
And when you're not serving well and your opponent is serving well, it becomes far more difficult.
Had a result today. Kimberly Bakusa came through against Annalie Oliver. They both made their debuts here this week. 11-9 in the championship tiebreak
Love 15.
for Pakusa.
Serve.
I think if Beth Gray watches this match back, she'll be so pleased with the first serve placement, the first serve percentage. Also, movement forwards. She doesn't look like she's had a tough battle yesterday at all. Physically, she looks in top form.
No, she certainly does.
15-30. Video.
So from love 30 to 30 all for Beth Gray. First breakpoint opportunity of the match here for Alice Gillan. There it is. Seemingly out of nowhere, Alice Gillan has got one of the breaks back, but Gray still with a healthy lead of 6-1 and a single break of 4-1. It's lovely to have your company on the first day of spring. Temperatures rising slightly. A little bit more sunshine.
It's a beautiful day here.
It is a beautiful day here.
I walked in and there was a big yellow ball in the sky.
Did you? I feel bad I drove. Yeah, it's worked well for Beth Gray this afternoon, the drop shot.
Love 15.
It's a really good play against Alice Gillan because she likes to stay at the back of the court. She gets a little bit stuck on the baseline. And Gray, quite versatile, happy to chuck in a slice or come to the net.
Love 30.
At the moment, though, Gray has such a handle on the Gillen service games. Won't really concern her too much right now that she did just get broken.
Love 40.
So back-to-back opportunities to break the Gillen serve to love for Beth Gray. Oh, she let rip on that second serve.
That's a bit more of the Alice Gillan we saw at the beginning of this match. She was far more assertive. At the moment, she looks as if she's questioning her shots. I'm not surprised, given Gray's standard so far.
Use. Advantage Gillen. Game. Gillen.
That's a great hold from Alice Gillan, from love 40 down, and having broken Gray the game before, give her a little bit of hope in this second set.
Most definitely, and Gillen will know that Gray wasn't able to close her match out yesterday. So she just does her own job, tries to hold serve. Just puts a little bit of pressure on Gray right now. What's going on in her mind? I'm sure the cogs are turning. Big baseline rally here. This was a wonderful chisel from Beth Gray. It's just stayed so low. It meant that Gillen had to hit quite high up on that drop shot. And Gray straight onto that. The slice is really effective on these courts. It just dies, stays so low.
Oh, wonderfully played from Gillen after some great defensive work from Gray.
15.
He stayed really focused throughout that point, Alice Gillan.
This is a wonderful shot. It's not easy to hit at all. Gets so much whip up the back of the ball. And even for a very quick player that is Gray, she had no chance of getting that back.
Again, planting a little seed of doubt in the mind of Beth Gray.
I've just started feeling a little bit tense.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wonder how Gray's feeling right now.
And second serve.
And the seed of doubt is growing into a little sapling.
It really is, because the interesting thing is when these two met each other earlier on in the week, Gray was leading quite easily on the first set, 6-4, led 2-love, was serving. And then Alice Gillan won 6 straight games.
This to get us back on serve.
That was a well-played point from Gray under pressure. Stuck to her game plan and actually brought Gillen into the net there. Gray loves the target.
Oof, opportunity for Gillen. She knows it.
That's got to sting. It's a second serve. No wonder there's a wee wry smile on her face. You've just got to get that ball back in the court.
How happy will Beth Gray to have been to get out of that service game from 15-40 down? Gray moves to within 1 game of the match at 5-2. A game away from finishing third in week 2 of the UK Pro League. The lady in your picture, Beth Gray, British No.20, overcome a lot this week. Had a food poisoning. Some real physical struggles at the end of last night's marathon. And now Alice Gillan serving to stay in the match. Beth Gray means business, and she's 3 points away.
This is a good test for Gray. given the fact that she struggled to close out a few matches this week. To hold serve in the previous game was vitally important.
The finish line is coming storming into sight now for Beth Gray. Seeing this like a beach ball. Dearly love to get it done here and now.
What a rocket from Gillen there. Just might be a little too late. But this is what she's capable of. That backhand can be a real weapon.
And having broken the serve of Gray before, she'll want to ask the question of Beth Gray. That forehand won't do it because it brings up match point for Beth Gray to confirm herself as a third place finish. As boyfriend telling someone match point to Beth Gray. And it's a win and a winner to end a tough week for Beth Gray. The week one runner-up will finish third in week two. She's overcome food poisoning, physical problems at the end of her semi-final, but she gets it done, and she gets it done cleanly against Alice Gillan, losing just the 3 games with a 6-1, 6-2 win to round off the week.
I have to say, Beth Gray should be very pleased with how she came out and played today. It was a tough loss yesterday in the semi-finals. Those 6 match points she had. But what a turnaround. Didn't look to be physically hampered in any way, shape or form. It was a really strong serving performance from Beth Gray. 78% first serves in and winning almost every single one of those. Alice Gillan just couldn't come up with anything big enough to trouble her opponent today, but still rounds off a good week for her, coming 4th overall, has moved up 1 place from week 1. So for both players, a lot to be happy with.
That's the wonderful thing about this format. There's always positives to take. As you mentioned, for Alice Gillan, she's progressed a place from week 1, and she can build on that. And she's got these 14 matches in the 2 weeks. For Beth Gray, it's overcoming the physical difficulties that she suffered this week to finish third.
Absolutely, but also the mental ones too. That is a big confidence booster for Beth Gray. Certainly if she comes back for week 3 as well, she'll know that despite the tough times she's faced this week, she is one strong woman.
Yeah, she certainly is. Coach Charles Homewood alongside her today. Boyfriend, as we mentioned, Ed Taylor, was up in the stands, and she'll be happy that she's been able to come out and perform like that to round off the week. She's going to be having a chat with Marcus very shortly, but it is Beth Gray who finishes, is confirmed, or picture now taken. He sent the messages to the family to say she's got the result. Now he's taking some pictures for social media. Oh, it's been a good end to a Sunday. Little smile. I'm sure those eyes are smiling from boyfriend Ed Taylor, because Beth Gray's done it. She's finished with a win. She lost just the 3 games, and she is speaking now courtside with Marcus.
It's the first day of spring. There was a spring in your step again today. How satisfying an end to the week is that for you?
Yeah, it was a great end to the week, especially after last night's loss. But yeah, I think I managed to bounce back really well today and just sort of, take 1 point at a time and wipe the slate clean. So yeah, it was good.
Well, you mentioned last night, physically and mentally, how did you feel this morning?
I felt okay. I did a really good recovery last night, had a nice, good dinner, good stretch, and yeah, I mean, I was a little bit drained when I woke up, but I just tried to sort of get myself in the zone and get ready for today, which I think I did quite well.
Are you the sort of person who can put disappointment behind you? Because that was one heck of a tough encounter for you last night, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the nature of the sport. Like, it's not the first time, and it's definitely not going to be the last time, and yeah, so I think as much as that happens to yourself, like, you also turn those situations around and you're on the other end of that. So yeah, it's just the nature of the game. You have to bounce back, and yeah.
Did you get a little nervous midway through the second set when Alice just threatened to make a little bit of a comeback as well?
Yeah, a little bit. There was a little bit of nerves at the end, but again, I just tried to take 1 point at a time, the same as I did last night, and it paid off today.
Yeah, it did. And, you've had 2 terrific weeks here. If my maths is right, you've got 27 points after the first couple of weeks. What's the plan now? Will you be back for week 3?
I won't be back for week 3. I'm actually going off to play some ITFs, but I'm hoping to be back for week 4.
Okay, well, we look forward to seeing you, and I'm sure that your boyfriend will be providing an extra large chunk of chocolate after your efforts over the past few days.
Yeah, I think I need it.
Many congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Okay, so Beth is going to celebrate. Gigi's going to come and join me as we reflect on what threatened to become an intriguing match when Alice threatened that comeback in the second set, and you and Jenny were talking in commentary. We wonder what was going through Beth's mind, but she managed to hold her nerve in the end.
Well, all credit to Beth, I think, physically and mentally, everything she's been through this week. I mean, she's been through the ringer in terms of what she's experienced, but to come out and play like that, there was a slight wobble towards the end, but she was just too strong for Alice Gillan. Alice had nothing to hurt Beth Gray with, but credit to Beth for that performance, to come out here. She hasn't had the chocolate yet. As you say, she'll probably get it off the back of this. And she said to us at the end of the first set, a good night's sleep. And doesn't that all do us a wonder if we have a good night's sleep?
Well, it does, but sometimes it's a real difficulty to have a good night's sleep when you've endured what she had to experience in that semi-final.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you can have the adrenaline that's working, and the mind is working over time. But as we touched on at the start, sometimes it's good to have to get back on the horse the next day. She was absolutely exhausted at the end of that 2-hour, 37-minute match that she came out on the wrong side of against Alice Maloney. She got the sleep, she woke up, she went again, and now she can put that behind her. So she finishes this week with a win, and for Alice Gillan, she moves up a place for week 1. So in terms of the format and what they walk away with, they can both walk away with positives.
Absolutely, and it sounds as though we will see Beth again in week 4. Right now, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, it'll be the battle for third place in the men's.
Oh, the reaction says it all for Mark Whitehouse. He had the second serve opportunity. Dumps the return of serve in the net.
Yeah, backhand again, wasn't it? He's been so up and down on that backhand. Probably, if you look at his 5 worst shots and 5 best shots of this match, they'd all be backhands, I think.
So another chance for Matusevich. Take this tie break.
Can't believe he's hit it straight back to Anton. Oh my days.
You've got to be kidding me. What a hustle from Anton Matusevich.
Again though, that's Anton's size and strength there that he can control that backhand.
Well, he saves a set point in that game. And he keeps himself alive.
He's letting Mark know as well how much he liked that one.
Into a tie break we go.
so many ebbs and flows in this match. When you think somebody's got control of it,
Yeah, just to think, 10 minutes or so ago, Whitehouse was 5-2 up. Of course, he has had one set point. We've had the knee debacle.
big serve from Anton. Anton just feels a little bit more consistent than Mark at the minute. I feel like Mark's more likely to go for something a little bit strange than Anton is.
The noise levels from Matusevich increasing as well. He is doing everything he can to press his opponent, try and wrap up this match here and now.
Anton a little bit frustrated there. Still level in this tiebreak. Caught the line on that one, and Anton just clipped the net. Game of margins.
So hard to call which way this tiebreak is going to go. No points dropped on serve yet.
Although Anton's hit some great shots, you just feel that the match is on Mark's racket at the minute, though, whether he hits winners and whether he makes errors. Anton's been a little bit more consistent, and just I've said that, he's thrown in a double fault.
Definitely become more irate, Matusevich.
Yeah, he's getting close, and we know he gets a little bit tight sometimes. You can see the finish line.
He certainly doesn't want to play a championship tiebreak. Hasn't yet dropped a set this week. Doesn't want to now, but Mark Whitehouse, 27-year-old, has had a pretty good recovery from dropping that opening set in just 24 minutes. Wasn't really landing too many balls in the court, and Matusevich was firing from the other end, but now Matusevich, mini breakdown.
Not a great shot decision from Anton then. It wasn't a great shot decision, it wasn't a great shot either. A drop shot that nearly lands past the service line.
We've spoken about Matusevich's ability to have touch and feel as well as power, but on that occasion he didn't manage to showcase it.
A little bit of tension in the arm as well, I think. There. He's gone after that return though. Got one of the mini breaks back. There's so many fluctuations in this set. Still wouldn't like to call a winner of it. Hasn't been any real rhythm or anything towards this from either player. Again, a strange decision there from Anton. Don't really know what he's going for there to hit the net.
Well, Mark Whitehouse had one set point opportunity earlier on, now has 3 in a row.
Anton's so fast between points as well. No respite for him to consider what's happening. And there we go, a set all.
Oh, what a turn of events in this men's final. Mark Whitehouse levels this match at 1 set apiece.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the set break, 7-point match tie break will be played to decide the match.
Hi Mark, it's Jenny. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we're just in a break, but as soon as we're back, we'll chat to you
Cool.
in about 10 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Week 2 men's final. Mark Whitehouse has just levelled the match, 1 set apiece. Mark, my goodness me, what a set that was. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. A little bit of drama, a little bit of keep the crowd interested, you know.
Lost a bit of your knee as well.
Yeah, it was tough because I felt like I had some good momentum going, but he came out of the break really firing, and yeah, I was glad I managed to win that tie break.
Marcus Calv.
Hiya.
Going into this final set champions tiebreak, what do you think will be the determining factors? What are you hoping to carry on? What are you hoping for?
Hoping to serve well, return well, and have fun.
Go have fun. Thank you
Thanks.
very much, Mark. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, what a nice guy he is. So chilled out. Practice partners with his opponent today, Anton Matusevich. Yesterday, in his semi-final match, he came through his championship tiebreak against Dan Cox, beat him for the first time in his career in their 5th meeting. He's beaten Anton Matusevich before, but a couple of years ago. And there's a lot to play for right now in this men's final.
Good start from Anton. Bit of clarity there for him. Good wide serve.
I was going to ask you, what would he have been thinking at that sit down there?
I think, again, it's the same thing. He knows how he's going to play. He's not looking for any sort of different tactics. I think he just want to cut out those concentration errors, drop shots, sloppy forehands that he's hit. He'll not be happy with that, though. Both these guys, if they get a hit on the return, they're going to want to get it back into the court. Chances are few and far between with these two serves. Big serving from Mark.
Just got stuck at the back of the court, a couple of feet behind the baseline there, and wasn't happy.
Yeah, both of them have played a couple of good points on serve and a couple of sloppy ones on return. Although Mark hit an ace, I suppose you can't blame Anton for that. Oh, that's a wild one from Anton. His feet didn't really move for that. Again, maybe a little bit of a sign of a bit of tension.
Well, this is his first championship tiebreak of the week. He's dropped his first set of the week just moments ago, so maybe a little out of practice compared to Mark Whitehouse, who played one just yesterday.
Yeah, it's just a different feeling when you're a set all. I think Mark's played a couple during the week as well. Anton's played one over the last 2 tournaments, I think, whereas Mark always seems to be getting himself in a champions tiebreak in the group stages.
Well, as they change ends for the first time, it is Whitehouse with the mini break, and Matusevich, who was getting quite fiery towards the end of that second set, has become rather subdued after making a couple of unforced errors. You just have to wonder whether something is bubbling up underneath the surface.
The players tend to put a lot of value on these mini breaks as well. When they've lost one, they think it's huge, but there'll probably be, in a 10-point champions tiebreak, there's probably sort of 4 or 5 mini breaks always happening, so there'll be more than just this one, I'm certain of that. There's one straight back. It's a phenomenal return from Anton. Got a little bit lucky on the return. Put Mark in a terrible position where he had to come into the net and didn't really want to. A little bit of a miss hit on that return as well from Anton. But he's still got to pass it. That's a thread through the eye of the needle. Back on serve.
It's so interesting to see how a tennis match changes in momentum so quickly. 1 or 2 points, and all of a sudden it feels now that Matusevich has a bit of an upper hand.
Yeah, especially with the tie breaks, it can feel that way. But this one's been even stranger than normal because there doesn't seem to be any sort of cadence to the match, any sort of rhythm. When you think one's got his foot in the door, the other one comes in big. Mark's just missed a couple there. He's not going to be happy with that. It's all right missing the balls when you're going for something, when you're going for a big one. You can kind of justify those, but missing the rally balls will really frustrate Mark. In the normal set, when he's been in this position, he's normally come up with a couple of big serves. Let's see if the champions tiebreak changes that. He's come up with again a big backhand. He doesn't lose confidence on that backhand, does he, when he's missed one?
Just outpowering Matusevich there. Went for the tee serve again on the ad court. He's been enjoying some success throughout this match with that serve.
Ooh, Anton's got a return right on the baseline and he's tempted Mark into a line. Big swing for Anton in the last 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, as they change ends this time, a very different situation. It was 4-2 in the favour of Mark Whitehouse. And now Matusevich 7-5 to the good and still serving for 1 more point.
It's a really big point, this one, for Anton. If he can open up that lead to 8-5, I couldn't really see him losing it, but back to 7-6 and Mark's right back in business. Just missed it. The tale of the match in this tie-break for Mark Whitehouse, in that it's a combination of backhand winners and backhand errors.
Yeah, I had a slight giggle there because you could hear him saying to himself, so rubbish.
Again, he's just got it a little bit early. I think he maybe expected a little bit more pace on coming from Anton. Just pulled it wide. Great return again. Little bit of breathing room for Anton now. He can just let go of his arm a little bit.
Breathing room indeed, because that point now offers up for match points for 19-year-old Anton Matusevich.
He's just gone for a little bit too much there. He's got 2 serves to come though. He'll not be too worried about that.
He went for glory. And credit to Whitehouse in that rally. He was well and truly in the back corner of the court, retrieving balls at pace. And he's managed to save 1. But still, Matusevich with 3 match points. Anton Matusevich is the Week 2 winner of the UK Pro League 2021. Undefeated this week. He's been in emphatic form, was pushed to the championship tiebreak by his friend, hitting partner, Mark Whitehouse. But he does get the victory.
Yeah, he's done really well there, Anton. Really good week for him. Really responded well from losing that second set and from being behind in the tie-break. Really took charge of it, showed his consistency. I think he just had a little bit more consistency than Mark. They defended a little bit better. But yeah, he's been the best player this week, I think. There's no doubt about that.
Well, credit to Mark Whitehouse, though, who finished 7th in Week 1, runner-up in Week 2. There are the numbers of the match, and what would your summary be of it, Calvin?
Yeah, Mark's second serve points. I keep going on about this, probably boring the viewers with it, but 26% second serve points won. He's just not going to get it done. Anton at 65, really good. Yeah, it was margins, I think, all the way through. We can't see the unforced errors there, but I think Mark probably hit a few more unforced errors than Anton did, and their winner count was probably, Mark may have edged the winners, but not by loads.
So, Anton Matusevich, Week 2 winner. We can now, in a moment or two, have a chat. Well, certainly with Marcus Buckland can have a chat with the Week 2 winner. He's been in impressive form all week long, undefeated, semi-finalist in Week 1, and now the winner of Week 2. He is courtside with Marcus.
Well, Anton, many congratulations. That was a thrilling finale. Talk us through it from your perspective.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was quite a questionable match. I mean, Mark can play very good, you know, especially indoors. He hits it huge. Just want to congratulate him on a good final as well. So, you know, I've practiced with him quite a lot, and he can absolutely club the ball around the court. So, and he showed that in the second set. I don't think I did much wrong at the start. And after he scraped his knee there, actually the level got actually a bit better, I thought. It was more rallying, so it was better for you guys, I thought, later. At the start, it was a bit like first serve, third ball, you know, points were quick. It was like 6-2, 3-love, and it was like 30 minutes or something. So it got better as it go along. So yeah, it was quite an intense final, and yeah, really happy to get through it. Thanks. Yeah,
well, you're good with your maths, and you're coming out with all the figures there. Of course, it's the first time this week that you've been taken to a deciding tiebreak. So what was your thought process, particularly when you didn't start that tiebreak too well?
I mean, I just thought, again, make some returns. I think that's the most important shot. You know, I think I'm pretty good in the rallies, but, you know, Mark's got a pretty good first serve. So if I can get it in the rally, I think I've got a better chance rather than him just hitting aces all the time. So I was like, look, just really got to concentrate on the returns, make sure I get them in play. And, you know, just build the point step by step. Don't go for anything stupid. In the second set tiebreak, I went for a really bad drop shot, and that cost me. Actually, well, it definitely cost me that tiebreak. So I was like, no more stupid drop shots in the last tiebreak. So yeah.
Well, it was a terrific effort from both of you. And in terms of what you've done here over the 2 weeks, lost your very first match in Week 1, and then you've been nigh on perfect since then. So what's pleased you in particular?
Well, I think I just got used to the conditions as well. I've been playing here quite a lot of matches. I think I played Dan Cox on the second day. That's probably the best match I've ever played in my life. I've just really focused, really consistent, and trying to hold serve and get in the rallies. Just extremely happy to get through it. I think once you get used to it, you get much better. I think the level's actually been better than last week in general. I think so. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the points tally, you're obviously going to be top of the table. There's a long way to go before the final week at the end of the year. What's your thought process? What's your scheduling process going to be?
So my scheduling. So I'm playing hopefully 2 more of these events. Then I've got exams, and then I have to try to play some futures, maintain my ranking to a minimum of some sort. So that's the schedule. So yeah, but these tournaments are great. Obviously. Thanks, guys, for everything, for putting on the events. Gives players opportunities to play matches, earn a bit of money as well, get in the competitive spirit, rather than just playing practice sets all the time. This is way funner.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
You've paid tribute to your opponent. You've had your coach here as well this week. What are you going to work on? What are you going to say to him afterwards?
I don't know, Hills. I got no idea. Probably hit some more forehands, maybe. Afterwards? No, I'm joking. I'm going to go home. I'm so tired after 7 days. I'm going to go home, hit on Thursday, come back up the next week, I think, and just, again, play more matches.
Well, you're going to be the man to stop. Many, many congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you again in week 3.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, terrific effort from Anton. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll round up everything that's happened, not just on finals day here at Loughborough University, but throughout week 2 of the UK Pro League. See you in just a moment. And welcome back to the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre at Loughborough University, where a few moments ago Anton Matusevich became the Week 2 winner after a thrilling victory against Mark Whitehouse, and there'll be a presentation in just a moment. In fact, you can see Anton smiling. Actually, the runner-up is going to do something special very shortly. Quick word from Gigi. That was rather exciting, wasn't it?
It really was. It was a test of Anton Matusevich, who hadn't dropped a set all week, and then to win in the championship tiebreak. And Mark Whitehouse, with the injury to his knee, the way he was playing the turnaround in that one, it was the perfect way to finish Week 2.
Anton's proud mother is watching from the balcony above, and although he's the runner-up today, Mark, we know he's a fantastic gymnast, and he's been rather cajoled into doing this, but we're grateful. He is going to show that this business of walking on his hands is not a myth. He can do it. So, Mark, over to you. Show us what you can do. Ah, it's a piece of cake. Very impressive, and a great sport to do it after losing a fantastic battle. He was close to walking on air. Can you do that?
Well, no, to get him to do it, you do realise that Sultan said that you would do it by the end of the UK. So maybe finals week in November, Marcus too will walk on his hands.
Yeah, as long as we've got some ambulances standing by. But it is Anton's moment of glory, and I mentioned to him in the interview, apart from that one defeat right at the start of Week 1, he's looked the part, and he had to deal with some pressure when he dropped his first set of this week in that very exciting second set.
And he's had the pressure of being the top-ranked player, the player that everybody was talking about in terms of what he's already done in his career. He's a junior Grand Slam doubles champion. He has an agent, a management company. He has sponsorship deals. So there's a lot of talk and a lot of pressure. But he's dealt with it really well, and he's learnt through Week 1 where he got to the semi-final stage. And here, as you say, to deal with losing that set, it can sometimes go wrong. To gather himself, to turn it around. His dad was here the first part of the week. His mum was here today. And as he said, it is invaluable, not just playing practice sets, but matches against his friends, and he came out on top.
Yeah, and we have to say, as Mark has a word with Dominic Hayes, the tournament director, he's been the dominant force on the men's side. Emily Appleton has done the same thing on the ladies' side. Astonishing performances from her. So it's up to the others now, come Week 3, to show that they can muscle in and get the big prize.
It certainly is. It's been incredible from Emily Appleton. When you think she has got 14 straight wins, just the one set that she dropped in last week's semi-final, she has been so clinical. She talks about the 2 pages of notes that she takes onto court before every match. She studies them. She is meticulous in her preparation, and she has been unstoppable through these 2 weeks.
Yeah, and just in terms of what else we've seen, I think it'll take a long time for me to forget that ladies' semi-final last night. Beth Gray, I mean, I suspect she'll think about it for a long time to come. 6 match points came and went, and Alice Maloney got past her and played her part in the final today. What else are you going to think back on in terms of your memories of the past few days here?
I think a big thing for me is comparing Week 2 to Week 1 and what the players changed. The new players that came in, the players like Alice Maloney, who finished 8th in Week 1, making it through to the final Week 2. So seeing the development of the players through these matches and having the new faces, because a big thing about the UK Pro League is telling the stories about the players. You just got Mark Whitehouse to walk on his hands on live television. We are getting to know these players. I've got my cake orders in with Alice Gillan. We're getting to new characters, and I think that's been a good thing about Week 2. New faces, new rivalries, and a lot of entertainment.
Yeah, and actually talking of rivalries, one interesting comment from Dan Cox after he finished 3rd earlier today. And we know he's competitive, and you need to be competitive. And he said, sometimes I like to stick my face into my opponent's face, but occasionally you've got to back off a bit when you're playing a mate like he was today. So all sorts of interesting dynamics in that regard.
And definitely, and not in these times should we be sticking our face in anybody's face. But it's great to see the rivalries. It's great to see the friendships. It's great to get to know these players. And for the players, they are getting the matches which they cannot get in most places at the moment. And they are making money to enable them to continue on their careers as professional tennis players.
Okay, well, just before we go, let's clarify exactly what we've seen on this final day today. We knew it was going to build up to an exciting crescendo, and that proved to be the case as Anton walks off court with a smile on his face to just settle down and enjoy a deserved rest after a busy few days, 7 matches in 7 days. Beth Gray, confirmation that she finished third with a straight sets win against Alice Gillan. Then Dan Cox came through against his friend Sean Hodkin, 6-1, 6-2. As we know, Emily Appleton was a 3-3 winner. It was much closer than that scoreline would suggest, and Anton Matusevich did drop a set at last, but he still emerged as champion. So Gigi, you have got a couple of weeks to practice walking on your hands before we return for week 3.
Do not switch that back on me. That was the deal made. If Mark did it, you would do it by the end of the UK Pro League. You've got until November to practice.
Okay. We'll both do it. That's a promise.
No, I'm not doing it. You're doing it.
No, we'll both do it. We're collaborators. Gigi, thank you very much indeed. So there we are, A-star performances from Anton and Apples, undeniably the star performers of week 2. Bye for now.